I am Araceli, a wealth advisor, real estate investor in the United States and Canada, and creator of Wealthy Women in Real Estate. Every week, I meet with Colette, a real estate broker and a real estate investor in Canada. We come together to talk about all things real estate investing and how to increase your wealth. Join us. Welcome, everyone. This is Araceli, Transition Wealth Advisor and U.S. real estate investor, and also in Canada. I'm here with my chat with Colette this week. We have a very special guest. And the subject for today is, if you're thinking of separating, what happens to the marital home? So Colette, can you introduce yourself and introduce our guest?
Of course. Hi, everybody. My name is Colette Raba. I'm a realtor I should say a real estate broker in the GTA West. I love helping people buy and sell homes in the GTA. And today, our special guest is Marian Grande, and her company is called Absolute Dispute Resolution. We love Marian because she actually helps people separate and sell their home. So that's why she'll call me and say, hey, hey, do you want to sell a house that's, people are going through a separation. So what we're doing today is talking to her because it has everything to do with real estate and how do you split up amicably, and do you need a lawyer, and what happens with your finances. So that's why we always like bringing on guests like Marian to talk about everything, including separating. I know it's not a nice subject, but Marian, hi, welcome.
Hi.
We're so happy to have you here. So what's today's subject, Araceli?
Today, if you are thinking of separating, what is going to happen to the marital home? And Marian, as a mediator, she helps couples obviously come up to a resolution. And there's many ways to do this. So Marian, I know that this is a big subject because remember, money touches everything. And when people are separating, the biggest assets that they have is normally their home. So what happens? Tell us what happens to the marital home when people decide to separate?
So basically, if both people are still living in the home, if it's amicable, they'll continue living in the home until there's a resolution. If they're not so amicable, usually we try and have one person vacate the home where the other person has exclusive possession until things are resolved. And then things like who's carrying the costs of the home, right? That has to be figured out. If there's minor renovations, major renovations, like repairs, if there's a leak in the roof, what happens? Who covers that? Do you both cover it? So those kinds of things. And then we have to kind of decide what happens to the home. Are we going to sell the home? Is one party going to buy out the other party? Is one person going to live in the home for a period of time? Let's say if their kids are small and they go to school there in that area, a lot of parents don't want to move. So in some cases, we'll put in an agreement where they'll stay in that home for 5 years. They'll still continue to pay the mortgage. It's a shared expense, the property taxes, and then the person who lives there continues to pay the utilities and things like that. And then in, let's say, 5 years or 10 years, whatever the time is, they'll either sell it or one person will buy out the other person.
Yeah, and it's also the stuff inside the home too. So a lot of the times when there's a separation agreement drafted, it's all the things that are in the home too. So let's say somebody decides to take half of all the possessions inside the home, and then you go to sell it, the house looks pretty empty. So, you have to consider all these things too. If you decide, it's got to be all kind of decided right at the same time, correct?
Yeah, like there's so many things in your home, right, that you accumulate over the years. And some of it people bring into the marriage. There might be heirlooms, right? Antiques that have kind of been passed down from generation to generation. So my experience with that is whoever brought that in wants it back, right?
Yeah.
And then I have other couples who there's wedding gifts, right? That,
Yeah.
like china that you never use, or like,
Yes, of course.
right? Things like that. The crystal glasses, it's always tucked away. So people kind of want that back, depending on who gave them the gift. So there's things like that. And then there's things like the appliances. And like if someone's still living, you can't
Right.
just, hey, I'm going to take the stove, right? You have to make accommodations for that. And then it's the other stuff like furniture,
Or
right?
even the kids, I always think like, oh my gosh, like the kids, you end up keeping all the stuff as they get older. You pack away their baby clothes and you pack away, maybe I'll save this for a relative or whatever. Like all that stuff. Oh my gosh, it's crazy to think, okay, now we got to split all that up, like either get rid of it. But it's that decision to be made, and it's quite a process to go through that. So, and this is why we love Marianne, because you don't have to go through a lawyer to do all of this and pay a lawyer exorbitant amounts of money hourly, when Marianne can say, hey, this is the way you do it. If you're amicable, if you can just do this process before you decide to who gets what, and
Now,
right?
Marianne, I have a question. So if somebody is in the situation that they already know they're going to separate, they still live in the house, but they're talking about, you know what, maybe we should look into this. How soon do they want to engage you to kind of come up with, a resolution and give them options? How soon can they do that?
As soon as possible. As soon as you've decided, okay, this is the path we're going to take, we're going to separate, because it gets really complicated fast for a couple of reasons. Number one, you have family and friends kind of chirping in your ear, telling you what to do. That's a big one, right? There's like the internet's great and all, but all the information is not accurate, and it can really take you down a wrong path really fast, you know. And then also, if you're both living in the home, it can get very confrontational, and amicable can turn into adversarial very, very quickly. Even people who I have in mediation and they're living together, even if they're not living together, it can really take a turn for the worse. So as soon as you decide that separation is the way you want to go, you should get in, at least get a consultation in. So you know what your options are, and you know which path you're going to take. Because a lot of times also people think that a lawyer's their only recourse. So right away they involve lawyers. So that's not a good idea.
Right, right. And sometimes that's what happened to me. My ex said, hey, I got a lawyer, so I really didn't have a choice of, and we talked about mediation before, but for whatever reason, he just got antsy and decided to get a lawyer. But that's the thing, like we're here just to tell everyone that you have options and you don't have to, go down one path. Same thing with the separation agreement. Even if you ask for financial disclosure on both sides, you need to do certain things to get the separation. But there's always a way to split a house too, let's say, or split assets. And it's as long as you both are amicable, right? There's not one way to slice it.
Yeah. So this is very important what you said, Colette, because most people are very irrational when they're separating, especially if it's not amicable, right? And
Right.
Mary cannot pretty much understand this. But this is something that, we want to bring to people to understand that if you think about it through and you make this as a business transaction, you already decided that you're not going to be with this person. Why make it even more difficult, more expensive? Because what happens is if you go to a lawyer because now you cannot talk to the other person, it's gonna eat into that or those assets that you have, whether it's money in the bank or it's part of the equity that you have in the home. So think about it smartly for the future, because that is going to eat into that money that is there. It's better off if you sit down with Marianne, which is so much more inexpensive than going to a lawyer and decide what you're going to do with those assets.
Yeah,
And
and she
just
can
do
give
it, and that's the best way to do it if you
and
can.
she can Marianne can give you the options too. So if you're not sure like what your options are, she's a perfect resource. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and
absolutely.
there's cases where I have adversarial clients. So in mediation, I don't have them in the same room. They're separated. They don't see each other. So depending on what the circumstance is, and even if you go to a lawyer is really supposed to advise you that you should go to mediation first. And most times, if you go to court, that's one of the first things the judge will ask you is if have you gone through mediation? And if not, why? And send you to mediation. So now you spent money for the lawyer. You spent money for the lawyer to be there all day in court just to hear the judge say you should go to mediation.
Right.
So that's really the first step. And then like a mediator can assess whether that case is suitable for mediation and be able to tell you right away whether you should in fact contact a lawyer.
Right. Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense, but a lot of the times if you think you're married to this person for so long, you can be a little amicable having
Yeah.
it go through. But yeah, people's feel, I get it. Yeah, feelings,
You would think
hurt
that it's,
emotions.
yeah, you would think that's the way, but because of the nature of the situation, people get very irrational. And, that's how feelings are. If you are angry, doesn't matter how, logical you are, you just say, no, I don't want anything like this. And we make really rash decisions. So that's what is important for you to, first of all, like if you need to gather your assets, your financials, I'll be able to help you with that. If you think about selling, that maybe it's not possible to stay in the home, you may want to talk to Colette to find out, what is your house worth and what options you have. Because Colette is one of the things that she does is she's not going there to sell your house, but to give you options, which is super important. It's completely different from other realtors that I work with. That's why you really need to sit down with her because she's not going to push the sale. It's just about the options that you have, whether do you want to keep the property or not. And Marian, of course, you can save so much money just to talk to her and see what the options are. Because if you do really have to go to a lawyer, she will tell you that. And this is what I love working with these women, because we're here to give you the best option for your circumstances. So exactly.
And we don't just help women, we also help the men
Well,
too.
of
So
course, of
yeah,
course.
so either one, but we're a trifecta. So hey, here we are. We're all about giving information and correct information because, like Marianne said, or did Araceli say,
Yeah, no, Marian.
yeah, on the internet, like you don't know what you're reading, you don't know from where too, because laws are different where you live. So
Yeah.
sometimes with the internet, you don't know where that
And
information.
now we have so much, like it's so overwhelming for
Exactly.
everything. You can find anything, but one person will tell you one thing and the next person will tell you totally different. And so you don't know where to go. You really have to understand your own personal situation and also your wants, because whatever worked for somebody else is not going to work for you because
Yeah.
it's a different situation. So Marianne, tell us, how can people contact you if they want to just have a quick consultation and find out what the options are with you, whether they're going to go their route of mediation or if they need a lawyer?
Yeah, so I do a free 30-minute phone consultation, and you can book that like on our website. Our website is absolutedisputeresolution.com, and you can also contact us through the website. Like I just wanted to say that like knowledge is power. That's so true, especially if you're going through a divorce. You want as much information as you can get, but you want it to be accurate information. You don't want it to be just something that you read online or a friend tells you, because every situation is different. And what might have happened for them may not happen for you. The outcome can be totally different.
And laws do
Absolutely.
change too, right? So sometimes
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
read something, you don't know how old it is. But something might have happened in the meantime too, that the laws have been tweaked a little bit, maybe even because of COVID. So we don't know exactly when things have been
Yeah.
posted. Yeah.
So just please pay attention to the people that you listen to. This is very important because people, they might mean well, and maybe they had a bad experience or a good experience that it might not be applicable to you. Plus, they are not the right advisors, so they don't know the laws, they don't know your circumstances. All of those kind of things need to be on a one-to-one, especially in this kind of cases, because no divorce is different, no separation is the same. So we want to bring in the people that are professionals that are going to be able to help you and give you the best advice. So please contact Marianne, or if you are thinking about your home, if it's maybe worth it to sell it instead of keeping it, a chat with Colette would be great. If you're struggling with figuring out how your finances are or what you have to declare, please contact me. We are basically a team that can help you just bring clarity to your situation. So that's what we have. Marianne, thank you very much for being here today. And as always, thank you for bringing so much knowledge to this. Thank you so much, Colette, for being here as well.
And thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here on the show. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when there are more shows available. And if you would like to have more information on how to start investing in real estate, please visit my website at www.aracelihernandez.com. Thank you.